This video is going to be about 5 of my favorite off-ice exercises for hockey goalies. Chances are your competition is not doing all 5 of these exercises, so if you add this into your training routine on a regular, consistent basis over the long term, you're going to notice an advantage over other goalies and you're going to feel really good on the ice. You'll get stronger and more explosive, and you'll reduce your chance of injury as well. Let's start with exercise number 1, which is a deadlift variation. When I talk about deadlifts, I'm also talking about hinges because a deadlift is a hinge pattern. A hinge, in a really simple way to put this, is just when you're moving your hips back in space while your feet are planted on the ground. So you will hinge in any kind of deadlift variation, whether it's a barbell or whether there's no weight at all. Imagine that you're standing a foot away from the wall, facing away from the wall. What you want to do is bring your hips back until they touch the wall behind you. That's a hinge pattern. And we can mix this up in different ways and we can target different muscles depending on how we do it. For example, if you keep your knees over the middle of your foot and don't move them, that's going to recruit more of your glute muscles, whereas a straight leg hinge is going to recruit more of the hamstring muscles. My favorite deadlift or hinge variation is the barbell deadlift because you can load it up really heavy and get strong, but there are other variations that I like as well, and these will also help you build up to that barbell deadlift. Single leg deadlift variations are awesome as well because they really build your balance and stability. They allow you to get a little bit stronger, but really they're not for building total full body strength. They're much better for increasing that balance and stability so that you feel good on the ice. The Romanian or straight leg deadlift is more of an accessory exercise compared to the traditional barbell deadlift, but it's also good for going a little bit higher rep and building some muscle and strength. And then finally, one of my favorites is the kickstand hinge, which I learned from David Gray. You don't really need any weight for this one. It's very technical. I'm actually including it in an upcoming no weight leg-based program that I'll be releasing in the next year. The kickstand hinge is exceptional for building glute strength and improving your hip mobility, specifically your hip internal rotation. So I really think this one is worthwhile to include. Adding any type of deadlift variation into your training is going to make a big impact on how you feel on the ice. Exercise number 2 is a deep tier plyometric, and I learned this from Matt McInnes-Watson. These are really good for goalies because they allow you to get into the kind of positions we're in on the ice, and they help you develop strength and stability, and you really feel good in that position. These ones really carry over to the ice. I've been doing them for the last year or so, and I've noticed a huge difference in how my legs feel on the ice. I feel much stronger. I'm not as tired in any movement. Everything just feels easier. There are probably an infinite number of variations that you can do with deep tier plyos. I find myself always going back to a squat variation, so a very low, deep squat jump variation, and then also lunges. I find these are really helpful and I can mix them up in different ways. The key with deep tier plyos is to stay relaxed in these positions. You're not going for maximum height or power. You're accumulating time in those deep ranges, and when you do that consistently for a long period of time, you start to build that strength and stability in those positions, which is what we really want as hockey goalies. This is an exercise I wish I knew about years ago because it made such an immediate and powerful impact on the way my legs feel in everyday life, but especially on the ice playing goalie. Exercise number 3 is a farmer's walk, and there are a lot of variations for this that will work well, but my favorite is a suitcase carry, and it's called that because it's like you're carrying a suitcase. So you pick up a heavy weight and you hold it with one arm on the side, and that's really good because it challenges your stability. It's very hard to not fall into that position where you're holding the weight onto that side. You have to really recruit different muscles on the other side of your body to hold yourself stable as you walk. Really just pick up a heavy weight and you walk with it. You turn around if you have to and walk back. You try to keep good posture. You don't want to lean over to one side. You want to stay in a straight position and keep walking. This is really a full body exercise because your grip gets worked, your traps and arms get stronger, and the muscles of your core are going to be very engaged. You understand what I mean when you do this exercise. This is one of the most functional exercises you can do. It's an exercise that my trainer programmed for me years ago when I was having trouble with chronic back pain from a weightlifting injury. I started doing this on a regular basis before I lifted weights, and the pain went away. I felt a lot better and I got a lot stronger. If you want core stability and full body strength, I definitely recommend adding in suitcase carries to your workout plan. Exercise number 4 is sprinting, and this is a full body exercise. You build strength, you build power, you can even build mobility, and if you want to increase your muscle mass and lose fat, I definitely recommend adding sprinting into your training. If you could only do one exercise, I would recommend sprints, and that's because they train so many things. They're very functional, very athletic. Anyone can do them, you don't need any equipment at all. Especially as we get older, you'll find that a lot of people stop sprinting once they stop playing sports in like high school or something. You want to keep that sprinting ability because if you don't do it, you tend to lose the ability to sprint. And I really believe that sprinting is a fountain of youth in that way, because our body is meant to sprint, we're meant to run fast. And when we lose that ability, we start to have other physical qualities degrade as well. If you haven't sprinted in years, you shouldn't just go out and run 100-meter sprints at full effort. You should start with some low intensity plyometrics, some slower runs, some slower sprints, really easy, relaxed running, and then build up to that over time. As always, you want to start slowly, and you want to be careful with building up the volume and intensity. It doesn't make sense for you to go intense right away and then pull a hamstring and miss a few weeks of hockey. So you want to do some kind of slow progression. It's more important to be consistent than to do a lot in one workout. And one program that I really like for sprinting is by Derek Hansen. It's his 10x10 program. It's basically you sprint 10 meters, you deaccelerate for 10 meters, and then you turn around and repeat that. And finally, exercise number 5 is the overhead press. And we know that the upper body is not a priority for goalies. It's more important to train your lower body. That doesn't mean we should avoid upper body training. And my favorite exercise for that, if I only had to pick one, would be the overhead press. And I like the overhead press because it builds balanced muscles. So if you're just bench pressing, you're really working the muscles in the front of the shoulder, but you want to be building the muscles in the entire shoulder. So in the front, in the back, and the sides. And the overhead press is a great way to do that, to keep your shoulders strong and injury-free. As goalies, we need upper body strength to push people out of our crease, to shoot the puck, to make saves, and also to prevent injury. If someone crashes into your net, you want a strong and stable upper body so that you're not getting injured every time there's some contact in the net. Of course, the overhead press is not the only upper body exercise we should do, but it is probably the most foundational one, and it's the first one I would suggest that you do. Now that we've listed the 5 exercises, there are 2 important things I want to add. First of all, these are 5 of my favorite exercises, not my 5 favorite exercises. I don't believe that there are only so many exercises you should do or have to do. There isn't one exercise that fits the bill for everybody. There are a variety of them, but I wanted to talk about 5 of my favorites, and that way you'll understand the principles behind why we do what we do, why certain exercises are important to prioritize, and what we need to train as goalies. Second of all, I didn't go into rep ranges or set ranges or how to program these exercises. And the reason is it's complicated. It depends on you. It's very individualized. Depends on your training experience, how old you are, your training goals. If you're interested in learning more information about how to train, how to program these kinds of exercises, I recommend you check out our Goalie Strength Training book. It's available in the link in the description below. And that goes into detail on training, rep ranges, and sets for any goal. Depending on what you want to work on, depending on how you want to focus your training, there is probably a program in there for you, and it goes into a lot more detail on how to train and how to set up exercises in an entire workout. It's 123 pages of exercise videos, workout plans, workout schedules, sections on sleep and breathing and mental performance. So I really think you should check it out because it will help your game. I hope you like this video. Our goal here is to help build the best goalies in the world. So if this is something that is interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel. Our goal with every video is to help you become a better goalie. See you in the next video.